Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be ranking all of the album arts for the Beatles studio albums. So this is an idea I've had for a little while. I've wanted to do it, and it's going to have nothing to do with the actual music. I'm going to just individually give the album arts themselves, just talk about them for a little bit and give them a ranking in the tier list, because the album arts have always intrigued me and interest me, and I think it is a big part of the music in a way, or at least it became that. But yeah, I've had this idea for a while, and like I say, it's not really going to involve the music, so it is and it isn't. So, where the album ranks, it has nothing to do with the quality of the songs on the album. It is all to do with the art, but I may kind of involve how the art works with the music, if you understand what I mean, or if it doesn't work with the music. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just going to go in release order. So with Please Please Me, I really like the picture we have in the background of like a young looking John, George, Paul and Ringo. But that's about all I like. At this stage, I mean, obviously this is early 60s, I'm not so sure on how important the album art was, how heavily it was considered, and I think maybe it was done more for promotion, just because obviously we've got written on here Please Please Me with Love Me Do and 12 other songs, and it looks as if it's trying to be promoted, it's trying to be, which obviously isn't a bad thing, but I just think it's very, it looks a bit tacky now. I don't think it's withstood the test of time in a way. Like I say, I like the picture, but I just don't like the layout. I don't like the different colours used, the yellow, the red and the blue. I don't, and I mean, it does fit with the album, with the songs in a way, I suppose, because obviously they're very young, it's all live, it's very raw, which is kind of what the picture is. They're young, it's kind of, there's no heavy editing, there's nothing done to it. So in that regard it does fit, but it's just not that interesting, and I just don't think it's withstood the test of time. So I'm going to put it in C. I don't think it's awful, it's not going in D. But it's definitely not going any higher, and it's a shame because I like the album. So next we have with the Beatles, in complete contrast to my tier list I did where I ranked these albums, for the songs, with the Beatles it's going to go higher than Please Please Me. I really like the album art. It's less cluttered, I suppose, as the Please Please Me one. There's not much writing. Obviously you have the big white at the top with the Beatles, and that's fine, but the picture taken of them is much more artistic, I suppose, which is obviously supposed to be. I believe it was a German photographer they knew. I think it was a she. I don't know much more about that, I can't remember, I'm not going to look it up, I may be completely wrong. But I just really like what's done here. I like the overexposure in a way on one side, and then almost complete darkness on the other side of the faces. It's an interesting picture, and it works. I mean, again, it works with the music in a sense. I mean, it doesn't really set any mood. It sets like a darker mood. The album's not necessarily darker, but it still works. So I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in A for now. It may move down, it may move up, I don't know, but it can stay in A for now. Okay, next we have A Hard Day's Night. This is difficult. I'm looking at it now, obviously, and I like the multi shots of different like facial expressions that they've all done, and it's obviously more interesting than the first two. It's different. But I just don't like the colouring, weirdly. Like, the blue, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is that it's putting me off. Again, this has nothing. Again, this is nothing to do with the songs on the album. It's all album art, so please. But I just don't like the blue. I don't like it. As iconic of a kind of album art that is, because of the multiple shots of facial expressions, I just don't like the blue. I don't know why. It's really weird. Like, it's an interesting album art, and it's nowhere near as cluttered as in wording wise than Please Please Me, but I don't love it. It's okay. I'm gonna put it in B because I do prefer it to Please Please Me, even though I don't know, it's a hard one. On a technicality, I prefer the picture of Please Please Me, but what's actually going on is more interesting in A Hard Day's Night, so I'm going to leave it like that. Next we have Beatles for Sale, and I think they all look a bit depressed, which I think they were. I think they were tired. The songs on the album reflect that, so the album art also reflects that in a way. It's definitely not cluttered. There's nothing interesting going on. It's just a photo of them, which I think a lot of album art maybe was at the time. But it's a better photo than Please Please Me. There's less clutter. There's less going on. I like the colour scheme as well. The kind of orangey, greeny, kind of light colours. Yet they're all kind of blacked out. They're looking depressed. I don't know. I like it. It's not a. I think I prefer it to A Hard Day's Night, even though it's less interesting artistically. There's nothing really going on. Not like this one, but I just do prefer it. Okay, next we have Help, and I don't really know with this one because I like the kind of the white background, just solid white with them all in blue standing out. I like the fact they're doing the poses, trying to, spelling out help, not very successfully. I mean, the L looks alright. The H, I suppose, could be okay, but the E and the P, I don't really know what's going on there. But I just find it kind of boring. I don't know. It's better than Please Please Me, but it's not better than them two. I don't know. This is really tough, and I don't know. This is really, really, really tough actually. Now that I'm looking at them, but I just don't. There isn't. It's weird because it's all subjective, but you can't always give an explanation as to why you don't necessarily like something, and I just don't necessarily like it that much. There's no real reason. I just think it's a bit boring. Now we have Rubber Soul, which is, I think, where things actually start to get interesting. The wording we've got with that really cool font, kind of all, and then the stretched out picture. I like the colours, the tones of the green and then the orange. It's really interesting, and in a weird way, I think it does fit the music. I mean, I don't know how it does, but it does. I know it's a bit weird saying, I couldn't imagine it any other way because this is how it is and this is how we're used to it, so of course we can't, but I really can't imagine it any other way. This is Rubber Soul. It feels like it was always meant to be that, So I'm gonna put it. I'm not gonna quite put it S, but it's definitely the top of A. Next we have Revolver, which I think, like the album itself, like the songs itself, is S tier. It's such a cool, interesting design with the kind of drawings of the faces, but then stuck in with actual photos. There's just a lot going on, but it doesn't feel cluttered. I like just the black and the white. There's no colour, but it works. I don't know, it just really suits the album. It really suits the style of music. I just really like this album art. Now we have Sgt. Pepper's. Now Sgt. Pepper's is obviously an amazing album. It was very, very influential at the time, and it has the album art to go along with it. I don't personally think it's quite as good as Revolver, but it is damn well amazing. And unlike Please Please Me, where the masher colours with the writing on the the red and the blue and the yellow, the masher colours here works really well. It's done a lot better. Obviously you have all the people in the background just stuck in there. It's great, and the costumes they're wearing, I don't know, it's just really, really cool. It's really interesting. There's not a lot more to say at it, it's a subjective thing. You look at it and you like it. Next we have Magical Mystery Tour. This one feels like a real step back, because I think it's actually awful looking at it. Like, in a weird way, I like the colours, and it all popping out, and it works for the kind of time in the album, but that's all it's got going for it. It's them dressed as the walrus. I understand it for the song, and I understand it for what they were doing. I just don't like it. I think it looks stupid. I think having it all sprawled out like that with the names of the songs covering almost, a quarter of at the top, and then you've got them all at the bottom as well. It's just, I think it just feels like a step back, and I feel like, having the song titles right there on the front, kind of, is almost going back to Please Please Me. They should be on the back, they should be on the inside of the LP, because obviously this was originally on vinyl. they shouldn't be like that on the front. I just don't like it. I don't like the way the Beatles is written in all the stars. I just don't like anything about it. Okay, next we have the White Album, and before I started recording this I was thinking about the White Album, because I was thinking surely the White Album has to be a D because it's white, it's nothing, it's white and says the Beatles. But in a weird way it's really, really refreshing and really iconic to the Beatles, and like I say, it isn't about the songs, but it works with the songs, because when you think about the album, you know, the Beatles, you know, the White Album, there isn't a theme, there isn't, you know, it's chaos, it jumps from one genre to another. You got Honey Pie and then you've got Helter Skelter on the same album, and it's amazing. So for there to just be no album art, it almost works with it perfectly, because there's nothing going on, there's no theme, there's no overarching purpose, it just is blank. It's the White Album, it's the Beatles, it's why I really like the album art despite it just being white. Like, how can I just think in the terms of the music and the way it works, it's amazing, it's great. I mean, I can't put it in S tier, but I'm damn well going to put it in A. I don't know, I mean, people might find that weird or maybe completely disagree with that, but it just, you know, it just works. It's great. It just, the Beatles, there it is, that's all you need to know. And they're right, that's all you need to know, it's great. Okay, next we have Yellow Submarine. This cartoony kind of, the drawings, the style, fits exactly with the film, which obviously this is basically the soundtrack too. However, I don't like it, but I understand it, which is why it's going in D, but above Magical Mystery Tour, because although I don't particularly like it, I understand it and it works with the film. You know, it is what it is. It's not the best. I don't like it. There's just random stuff in the background. You got the apples, I suppose, for Apple Studios. Never really thought about it, but yeah, it's just there. You know, it is what it is. Okay, we now have Abbey Road. I really like Abbey Road's cover. Obviously, it's extremely iconic. And it's really simple, but really brilliant. I don't know. It's kind of just, there's no text sprawling over it, covering up. There's no, it's just them crossing the road, and it's wonderful. It's a hard one, because in reality, is it album art? It's just a picture of them. But yeah, it is. It's the album art. So I'm going to put it in S tier, probably behind those two, because, you know, they're very, what's the word, they're very artistic and they're very experimental, they're very interesting. A lot of effort and work has gone into that, whereas the Abbey Road one was, oh, where should we do this concert, you know, where should we take the picture, should we go to Everest, blah blah blah, should we do this, no, I can't be bothered, let's just go outside the studio, and it became amazing. So yeah, I think it deserves its place there. And in last place we have Let It Be. I like this album art. It's very, again, it works with the songs. It's the kind of, it's just the still shot of them taken whilst in the Get Back sessions, which is what this album was supposed to be, you know, a stripped back, we're going to write all these songs and perform them within the month or whatever it was they gave themselves, I forget off the top of my head. And this album art works very well with it. I like the darker, just black in the background with the just, you know, white Let It Be and the pictures of them. It's very simple, but it works. You got George looking very happy, which is always a plus. Ringo, I'm not too sure, and Paul, I'm not too sure. John, I'm not too sure, but it's a nice looking album art. It's nothing amazing, it's nothing experimental, but it's just nice, and that's why I think it deserves an A. Probably above the White Album, to be fair to it. So that was my ranking of all the album arts. I hope you did enjoy the video. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. And remember, this is all an opinion. I get a lot of comments, people enraged, hurling all sorts of insults because I've put a song in 5th place instead of 4th, and their list has it in 4th, and they are right, and things like that. And it's just, you know, come on, man. I'd love to have a discussion in the comments with you about your opinions and why you think this and that, and you know, but just don't be a knobhead about it. But anyway, if you'd like to see me do this with Radiohead or Queen, I'm probably going to. So look for that in the future. But other than that, thanks for watching. See you later.